I think that people should absolutely look at what is it that gives you more energy, because it's a game of attrition. You're playing a very long time horizon. You're going to fail a lot. There's going to be a lot of like having to figure things out and making mistakes, and a lot of that aversion energy is going to come in as you struggle with this or whatever. If the thing itself isn't replenishing a large amount of that energy, then you're really going to be in trouble. The doing should be joyful. And so I think the right question for people to ask isn't what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? It's what would I do and love every day, even if I were failing. When you think about what you could enjoy failing at, now you're on a much more interesting path, right? Because, okay, I can be in here, I can fight this fight, I can struggle with this thing, and over time, obviously, I'm hoping that I figure it out and I win big and all of that. I knew that I was sort of burning my fuse and that I was just banking that I could get rich faster than that fuse would run out.
Right.
And I lost, and the fuse ran out before I got rich. And so, thank God, because in that, the rest of my life hinged and everything turned on that because of that moment, because I knew that, you know, one, tomorrow's not guaranteed to any of us. Once you know, okay, I'm on borrowed time, I don't know that I'll ever be successful. If you have a fuse, the odds of it running out are much higher than you finding success.
Need motivation? Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and I make these videos because in my first business, I was making $300 a month. I quit on my business partner, and the thing that saved me was studying the stories of super successful entrepreneurs. So I hope that this story today helps give you the motivation you need, because I still need it too myself. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Tom Bilyeu, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy.
So you have to figure out what is that thing that I can do and keep doing and struggle and fight, because life has a certain amount of that no matter what you do. And going back to that, you have evolutionary pressure to work hard. So if you know you're going to have to struggle at something, then you should very much struggle at something that gives you energy. Now, what is it that I focus on and think about that gives me the energy to keep doing all of this? I have a very simple mission. It's simple to articulate. How about that? To pull off is going to be, very, very difficult. But the simple idea is that right now, in much of the developed world, your zip code is the #1 predictor of your future success. And so, while I'm not a huge fan of thinking that IQ is a big factor in people's success, of course it is. So if the answer were that your IQ were the #1 predictor of your future success, okay, I could begrudgingly accept that, and it never would have become the mission in my life. But seeing amazing people who I love and care about get chewed up by the inner cities was something that I wasn't prepared to just accept and live with. So at first I thought that I could just gather people around and say, hey, I took myself from really struggling emotionally, not knowing how to succeed in business, to being very successful. It's ideas, it isn't me. There was nothing like different about me. I met minimum requirements, right? So there is a level of intellect that you will need. I meet minimum requirements. Anybody listening to this meets minimum requirements. So now I thought, okay, I could just gather people around and explain the ideas. They would be able to go off and implement them, and it would change their life forever.
Rule number 2, find fulfillment.
Fulfillment is very simple for me. And it has to do with the directives that are embedded in your brain from an evolutionary standpoint. So you must work hard, it's embedded in your brain, to acquire skills that matter to you, that allow you to elevate yourself and others in service of a goal that's both exciting and honorable. So exciting and honorable means that you're just amped about it. You dig it. So I dig storytelling. I do. And I want to help people through storytelling. I do. My life circumstances have led me to that. The way that I'm hardwired, I just have an outsized response to stories. And so I'm drawn to that. And because of life experience, I want to use stories to help people. So that's very exciting for me. Now, it's also honorable because I'm not just looking to make myself rich or be admired for telling a cool story. I actually want to help people with that story, and I hold myself accountable to that. So when you have that cocktail, you're working hard to garner a set of skills that allow you to serve not only yourself, but other people. That's fulfillment. So people can say whatever they want. And I know, like, if I'm actually out there every day doing my best to help people, I'm going to feel good about that. Now, I'm not going to feel good about people misunderstanding that. That's still going to suck. But I know what's in my heart. And so if I'm like, no, for real, I'm showing up no matter what people say, I really am showing up to help people, then that will give you the emotional resilience that you need to see yourself through. So fulfillment is it's able to withstand even moments of unhappiness. And when you have fulfillment, the thing that you believe in that you're fighting for, then it gets easier to push through, whatever frustrations, difficulties, the mob coming after you, whatever. If you don't have that, and you were just trying to be famous or get approval, and it feels like the entire world is piling on you, you just are like, yeah, I'm done with this. So there really has to be something you're fighting for.
Rule number 3, shift your mindset.
What I learned long before I actually became successful was that success wasn't going to change my insecurities. And I think most people go into it thinking that success is going to eradicate their insecurities. They look at somebody that's successful with this admiration. And they think, when I'm that successful, I will look at myself with that admiration. And it doesn't work like that. So, and what's super interesting, it's not surprising at this point. This would have surprised me in my 20s. But like I said, thankfully, I learned these lessons when I was still struggling, is that your insecurities are going to go with you wherever you go. And the name of the game is really about skill set, and skill set in a few different ways. Skill set in, there are things that I want to accomplish in this world and I must get good at them. But then there's also skill set in managing my own mind. And that is the real juice. So you gave me that poster, Outwork Everyone. And when I was writing a message on it, it's like, to outwork everyone, there is a certain thing that must be true in your mind, which is you have to know that all you have is this moment. And so success is not some thing in the future where you will cross a finish line and feel forever the way you've always wanted to feel, which is what people think. Success will feel exactly like this moment. Whatever your life is right now, if it's a mess, I could give you $1 billion and it would still be a mess. And so understanding the name of the game is really to optimize the way that you respond to your environment, the way you respond to your challenges, the way you respond to difficulties. That's it.
Rule number 4, use anger as fuel.
One, I believe doubt is a gift. Let me say that again.
I agree with
Doubt is a gift, man. If you know you're going to do something, that you will stick with it, you're not afraid to pivot or change directions, whatever, but that you know you're going to go after the things that you care about, and you're going to go after them hard, and you're not going to stop when you get tired, you're not going to stop when you get bored, you're going to stop when you're done. Like, when you know that about yourself, then doubt is a gift. And so, man, I actually wish more people in my family would doubt me. At this point, my family, they don't doubt me externally. Like, they don't vocalize it. They may all doubt me like crazy, but they don't do me the kindness of
letting you know.
Exactly. So the reason that is a gift is because I believe that human beings are wired to leverage two different things. One, the beauty of what you're trying to create, the people that support you and love you and want to see you succeed. Like, that's amazing. That feels good. It's going to give you energy. And I think you should spend 80% of your time there. There are times, however, especially when something gets really hard, really painful, that, and I've talked about this before, but if you're doing a research on pain tolerance, the one thing that they know universally will allow somebody to tolerate more pain is anger. Actually expressing anger. So if you put somebody's arm in an ice bucket and make them hold it there, like at first it's not so bad, but then it really gets to the point where like, this hurts. And when it gets to the point where it hurts, if you want, it's something like 30% longer. If you let people go and like really express like anger and rage, they'll be able to deal with that 30% longer. So there is something, you're able to marshal the body's resources when it gets really hard. So in those moments, that's when I turn to the people that hate on me, that want to see me fail, that doubt that I can do it, like, and use that in that aggressive, dominant way to really push through. And like, under no circumstances will I let that person be right. So that's incredibly powerful. Now, the second part is they're doubting you so much that it's beginning to hurt your own mind. So now here's the thing. One, if somebody is chipping away at your ability to believe in yourself, you need to distance yourself from them. Now, this gets really hard when it's family, but it's absolutely critical. To me, like if my family were bringing me down with all the love and compassion in the world, I would let them know, hey, I can't be around this level of negativity. So we have to come to an agreement. Either you're just going to stop, like keep it to yourself, or I'm going to have to spend less and less time with you. So let me be very clear what the rules of engagement are. I love you. Like, let's really make it hard. Mom, I love you, Mom. I love you more than you can imagine. I love being around you. I want to spend time with you. But the things you're trying to do to protect me, because her intentions almost certainly are good, the things you're trying to do to protect me are actually eroding my confidence. I would not words like this, these exact words, okay? This is the exact conversation that I would have with my mom. So it's beginning to erode my confidence. Confidence is one of the most important things that anybody needs to cultivate if they're going to go on to be successful. So I fully understand that you only have my best interest at heart, that you really want to help me and you want to make sure that I don't make a mistake that could be very detrimental to my life and my career and where I'm headed. So I understand that those are all really, really beautiful intentions, but they're having this unintended side effect. So because of that, I either need you to stop or I'm going to have to spend less and less time with you, which would be utterly heartbreaking for me. So let's agree to disagree. Let's agree that when we come together that we're going to talk about positive things, beautiful things, wonderful things. And then if she can't help herself, stop spending as much time with her. It's that simple. It's not easy. I get how painful that would be, but you have to. And when she then calls and is like, you don't come around as much anymore, you say, we had the conversation. I was brutally honest with you, what I need to protect my self-confidence. I know that you don't mean to do it, but you're still doing it and I can't be around it. So until you can figure that out, and let me tell you all the times where you were saying this, that, or the other. And again, I'm not questioning your intentions. I know your intentions are good because that's immediately where she's going to go. But I'm just trying to protect you. Like I say those things because they're not really negative. Why are you taking them negatively? This is your fault. You can hear words like that. And so you just need to be abundantly clear. I have a line in the sand. I love you. I have all the empathy and compassion, but I'm not going to be around that. So, and then as you distance yourself, she will change her behavior or she'll entrench. If she entrenches, you know everything you need to know about her mindset. That's toxic, whether it's your mother or not. And then if she doesn't entrench and realizes, whoa, like even if I believe to the core of my being that I'm not being negative, those things are perceived as negative. And that's one thing that you can say that'll lighten the load. Hey, maybe those things really are positive, but just so you know, I'm interpreting them as negative. They're affecting me at a visceral level as negative. So for me to keep coming around, they have to be excised from our relationship, period, simple.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5, never give up.
Because most people hit a gazillion emotional snags
Right, exactly.
as they go through this, they derail themselves. They don't listen to the truth of their failure. They don't want to own it because it sucks. Every time, Omar, that I realize that I have screwed up, that I'm wrong, it sucks. I don't enjoy it. But the thing that keeps me going is recognizing that that is the nature of progress itself. And that if I fail to look at what I can control, that I could do differently next time, I'm either going to repeat the mistake or I'm going to quit. Now, the bad news about success is it's a game of attrition. And the really bad news is that to move forward, you must be willing to fail a lot. Because failure is the most information-rich data stream that exists, because it hurts and you actually tried something. So you tried something, there's real-world results, those results hurt. That pain triggers the areas of the brain that have to do with memory and focus. So you really look at that thing, right? This is, again, this is nature saying, hey, because there's so much information in this failure, I want to make sure that we do the things that get you to learn from that so that the next time it isn't a close call with a tiger, right? That either you can really keep distance, you're not putting yourself in that kind of dangerous situation again. And then obviously the people that really got themselves in trouble just got eaten, and so they're all wiped out. And so that becomes this loop. But every time you fail, you get this aversion response. Where you don't want to do this again. You don't want to look at it. You don't want to face your inadequacies.
Right.
And it's really rough. And then it's magnified 1,000-fold by social media. Because now 1,000 people are telling you that you're a moron. So it is this
And you
really...
have a team and money and time and energy and
You magnify that 1,000,000-fold because now there's a lot at stake for a lot of different people. And so most people, they just can't keep iterating. And so it is the game. And there's, as far as I can tell, and look, I'm constantly updating my mental models, but as far as I can tell, that's the ground floor. That really is the physics of progress. And if you can't figure out that when I just failed, and I failed publicly and people are making fun of me, in that moment, can I just stay centered or get centered again? Because of course you're gonna get knocked off. Can I recenter myself very quickly and focus on what I need to do? And once the do is back to hypothesis, back to execution. And if you can stay in that loop, what do I need to do? What's the next thing to try? Then on a long enough timeline, you can win. But most people, they just stop, man. It's just too much. It's not fun. And by the way, there is a ready-made off-ramp, because I don't know how many people should listen to me. I don't know how many people should live the kind of life that I'm trying to live, where I'm trying to have outsized success. I'm trying to build something massive. For the right person, I think that I actually have the right tools. Like, these have served me incredibly well in my life. I have the receipts to show that it works, but I also have the receipts to show emotionally it's brutal. And if you don't know how to rebalance yourself, it's not a winning proposition. So focusing on that, the mental game of like, fulfillment matters, fulfillment's important, joy is a metric, optimize your life for joy, and then you've got to play the game on a really long timeline. So you have to discount anybody that says, you know, you're a moron for this failure. It's like, that doesn't ring true to me for the following reason. Making a mistake and even doing something that is objectively stupid. Let's say that the vast majority of humanity would have seen clearly that which I missed, okay? So let's say that that was true, and I'll qualify that and say that's what we're defining as stupid. So let's say that I actually do make a stupid mistake that most people would not have made. If in that moment I give up, I'm out of the game. If in that moment I can recenter, learn my lesson, and keep going, then I put myself in an elite class, not because I can prognosticate everything accurately, but because I don't quit. And that's really been my secret, is I just don't give up.
Rule number 6, learn to deal with difficulties.
And if you have a neurochemical imbalance, that really sucks. Like, I can just tell you, looking at my mom, I'm prone to anxiety. So there is, I'm sure when this all gets mapped out, it will become clear that I have markers for anxiety, whether they were epigenetic or genetic, but that I came out just primed to become anxious. So that sucks for me, because I've really had to contend with anxiety. Like, this is one of the biggest issues in my life. I think about anxiety almost every day. So it is really a thing that I've had to manage, especially for somebody striving in the way that I have. So I'm constantly putting myself in the position of being anxious. I remember in high school, I promised myself I would never again do anything that made me nervous. That was the word I used back then, that I would never again do it. And yet my adult life has been a betrayal of that promise that I made to myself in high school, because all I do is put myself in situations that make me anxious. So, but the striving and getting better has been a reward of untold proportions. So